Okay, here's part 3 of tying the parachute Quill Gordon, which is going to be dubbing and attaching the hackle. Now I've got here a little drawing of hackle feather. This is the unprepared hackle feather on top. Shows all the fuzzy material and the dark webbed area which are on the hackle when you pluck it off the neck. When I prepare the hackle, I remove almost all of this to end up with this. I leave a little bit of the webbing on and I cut it up short to make like a little two-sided comb, and I'm using that little bit there to wrap the thread over to really attach that hackle tightly so it won't pull out. Now, okay, so now I'm going to take my beaver dubbing and I'm going to dub on a nice tapered body, relatively narrow. I'm going to try not to make it too thick. Try to get enough dubbing on here to get me up to the wing post. If I don't get quite enough on, I'll stop when I get to the end and add a little more on. But there's our starter. I'm going to stretch this out a little bit because it's a little thick, and that doesn't look too bad. So we go wind back down to that little ball of thread, ball of fur that we started with our tail, and then we wind forward, keeping it nice, consistent, tapered body right up to the wing post. And now we're ready to tie in that hackle. Now, as I said before, it doesn't have to be good hackle. This is actually getting tied in with a number 3 Metz neck. Now I'm just going to show you how I make that little comb that I talked about before, which is going to help that hackle to be attached there. So I'm going to go once in front like this, take a couple turns in front, and then the hackle is nicely attached, not going to go anywhere. And now I'm going to take just a little more dubbing, put it on here, and finish off that front end of the fly to make it look nicely tapered. I'm also going to wind right up against that post and help keep that post erect. Now I take my parachute hackle pliers, which basically are regular hackle pliers on a stick with a hinge that allows them to rotate, so that I can rotate right around the wing post as I tie this on. I get it into the hackle pliers and then keep it nice and tight, and then make my turns, and each turn goes under the previous turn. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and one more, 6. Okay, now I'm going to hold my hackle out of the way to the back here a little bit, but then I'm going to come across it with the thread and then carefully go up over the hook. Try to get under those other hackles. Again, go back up over the hook, and I'll do that a 3rd time so that that hackle is nice and securely attached, but I won't trim it off yet because sometimes they have a habit of popping off, so it's best to wait until you get your half hitches on there, and then you know everything's nice and tight. You can cut off that hackle. So half hitches, 2 nice half hitches, and then we're all set to cut everything off. Take our razor blade, put it right up against that hackle, and we get that off there without damaging any of the hackle. So there's our finished fly, nicely tied, looks good. Got our split micropivot tails, deer hair post, and parachute hackle. Now when you lacquer this, you want to lacquer in 2 places. Put a drop of lacquer right here at the base of the wing post to hold that hackle in, and then another drop of lacquer right here on the thread wraps underneath to make them nice and tight. And there you're done. You've got a good looking fly. It's going to catch trout, and we're getting into the early season now. It's February. I've been out twice already this year and had some really great trout fishing here in Pennsylvania on some of our local rivers. I hope you get out soon too. Thanks for watching my instructions, and I look forward to you looking at my website, where you'll find my blog on why I like parachutes as opposed to paraduns and traditional dry flies, patterns for other flies, and lots of other good stuff. So thanks for coming, and I'll To see a list of materials, to read my blog, see my photographs, or learn about other fly patterns, please visit macflyfishing.com. Thanks for watching my lessons on how to tie a parachute quill Gordon.